Hey everyone, welcome to the video. And today we have Nathan from BoxyHQ, and our discussion is around community engineer role. Nathan is working as a community engineer at BoxyHQ. BoxyHQ is an open source platform which help you to deploy your cloud applications and all the security tools with DevSecOps concept. And lot of discussions we are going to discuss with Nathan and how someone can get started with open source, what is community engineer role, it's good for tech people and lot of things. So we start with the discussion, and it's good, Nathan, if you just start with a little bit introduction about yourself.
Sure. Okay. So I have a little bit of a unique story. I haven't been in tech for the last couple decades. I'm going to just kind of give you a short history because I want to lead up to tech. And so I was a commercial truck driver for 2 decades. And my wife and I started having a discussion in about 2019 because I'm super interested in blockchain technology and just looking at the way that tech was headed and realizing, we both realized that me being in the transportation industry and my wife being in escrow banking, at some point, those positions will be autonomized. And so we figured, let's come up with a game plan because we need to get ahead of the curve and not basically end up in our, let's say like mid 40s, early 50s, and then our jobs just basically disappear through the advance of technology.
Yeah.
So we decided to enroll in a boot camp, and we started learning JavaScript and Node, building React apps and working with applications, running servers, connecting to databases, unit testing, the whole thing. And then started learning cryptography and Solidity and blockchain technology, which is one of my big passions. And so ended up going into tech in more of a DevRel role. And the reason being is I love building, but I also love the interaction and engagement with developers because that's one of my other passions is collaboration and working on a team. So and open source comes into that as well because throughout the open source community, you can work as one giant team. So, which I think is really interesting. So that's the short version. I'm gonna just give you the short version.
Yeah, yeah. Like that's interesting story, Nathan. And like you that passion that you have for technology that you mentioned that blockchain and all the stuff, and you start with the bootcamp, JavaScript, starting with the Node and all the application stuff. That's really
Mhm.
inspiring, and that shows that you are a techy person that I think. And the first thing that I want to know, just give us a little bit introduction about what is BoxyHQ and what is your
Sure.
role at BoxyHQ.
Right. So I'm a community engineer. It's it it's basically a blend of, I would say, developer relations and community management. So, and those two can go together. And depending on the company, it may mean one thing. I'm talking about developer relations. So I basically engage with the community in um, more of a support role, and then also collaborating with our community, helping them build and promoting them through the open source community, and then encouraging things like um, you know contributing to our open source platform. We have several repositories that are open source, including BoxyHQ's website. And so just those kind of things, just working with the community and in like an engineer style. And then we have that, one-on-one communication with developers who, you know, mainly speak developer. And that's like the
Okay.
main language. So it makes it really easy. And there's a couple other things as far as the introduction to BoxyHQ. So they are a suite of developer tools that have basically, they saw a need in the market, such as like single sign-on SSO. Well, if you, I'm not going to name any companies, but if you, sign your company up for SSO, you're going to end up paying a lot of money. Well, BoxyHQ offers it for free, and then multi-tenant connections. That's where you kind of go into more of an enterprise level. So it's really cool because they offer all of their tools for free. And so, me working in the community, I'm not out there selling anything. I'm just basically helping developers build, and which I think is a really awesome place to be in.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they have,
Like,
so I'll just backtrack a little bit. So they have a suite of products like SSO, audit logs, Privacy Vault. They built a SaaS starter kit, which is open source, which basically is a SaaS platform boilerplate built in Next.js, and it's got a dashboard for all of BoxyHQ's products to basically just be built in. And so that's also really awesome because they never plan on making any money from it. They've built it for the community, and the community has also put in much contribution in building that out as well, which is really awesome.
okay, that's interesting. And one more thing that I want to add, BoxyHQ, that you mentioned, that uh, template that they have. I personally explore it, and it's a complete dashboard, and which is built by community for the community. So if you are someone who just trying to get started with that particular template, and I put the link in the description, but the template was really awesome, and someone just start with that template is completely open source and free to use. As
Mhm.
Nathan mentioned, BoxyHQ not making any sort of money from it. You can use and you can contribute to it as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's great to
And,
know, Nathan.
yeah,
Yeah,
and one really cool thing about that is it shows basically what I mentioned before, which is the open source teamwork. So it's, we get developers in our community that are excited about contributing to open source, and let's say they're a front end developer and they don't really know where to contribute to. Well, if you take something like that, which is built by our developer team, but it's also built by the community, um, turning into this amazing, you know, uh, boilerplate application. We've had amazing feedback from it, as well as there are some people in the community that have that are based that showed up for that specific boilerplate product, and their feedback is that um, it's better than a lot of the paid versions, and so definitely go check it out because it's
yeah,
amazing and it doesn't cost anything. So, and we would
yeah,
love
yeah,
contributions. We're always welcoming more contributions. So,
yeah. Like if you're a open source contributor enthusiast or just want to start with open source, BoxyHQ has a GitHub repository and have a lot of issues that you can start with as a beginner. And the tech stack mainly focus on start with JavaScript, and there are different uh, parts of the BoxyHQ, just boilerplate documentations and lot of small individual components that you can contribute. Uh, so yeah, you can start with the open source journey with BoxyHQ, and BoxyHQ has a Discord community where the Nathan is completely active on it. So if you face any issue, you can just go and put it out here. Nathan always there to help you with resources and documentation. Yeah,
definitely, yes.
yeah. And another thing, you are a community engineer at BoxyHQ. what is your day looks like? Like, what are the roles and responsibilities that you have to do with? So just tell us about that.
Sure. So BoxyHQ we're a smaller company, but we do big things. So, and a lot of that is because of the team. So the start of the day, I'm, in the community, doing outreach, helping developers answer questions, trying to take, some issues from the community to the engineering team. And then I also, we as in BoxyHQ hosts a monthly Ask Me Anything where we,
Yeah,
interview experts in a field. And then, you know, we're also writing technical articles and producing videos and trying to collaborate with other open source projects to build out integrations. And so one great thing about startups is your day is never the same.
yeah,
It's
completely agree.
always interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. At
But
startup,
it's
you
fun.
have to.
It's fun.
Yeah, yeah. At startup, you have to do a lot of things. Like if you're a developer, you have to take a part in UI UX designing and other like you. If you're a front end, then you have to look at the back end as well. If you're
Mhm.
like, and if you're a open source something, so you have to look it. But it's a great exposure that you get as a fresher or a beginner if you just start with a joining to startup. So you will get better experience than working at any big company and working on any particular small component. So that's the best, I would say, best benefit that you will get to work at startup. And specifically, it's
Yeah.
open source. So you will get more technical clarity. So
Mhm.
that's
Yeah.
amazing.
I I I agree because, the smaller the company, the greater the context because if you don't have a marketing department, you may end up doing marketing. It depends on the day. You just take one hat off, you put another hat on, and whatever needs to be done, somebody's got to get it done.
Agree.
So
Yeah.
it's really cool.
And that's the next thing that I want to know. Like BoxyHQ is a tool around DevSecOps. You you personally wrote a lot of articles. Weekly, one article that you publish on the Dev2 community, Dev2 platform, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, and one more thing to add for the people that you are watching the video, if you have you have no idea how to start with BoxyHQ and you are thinking to where to get a read all the things and documentation, you just go on Dev to just search BoxyHQ or Nathan. You will come up with a lot of articles that written by the Nathan. You will just go search, read those articles. You will get clarity or something to contribute to BoxyHQ, how to get started. Nathan has
Mhm.
really detailed view on that article, how you can start and all the resources. And
Yep.
the question is, uh, what is a DevSecOps and why it's important to BoxyHQ or the other tools that working on the same idea like BoxyHQ.
Right. Yeah. So BoxyHQ isn't technically a DevSecOps tool. So if we look at single sign-on, your organization needs a safe path for your customers or employees to log into your different applications and resources. So we we offer that as well as other tools that can be embedded into your applications like audit logs. If you get breached, this is a great way to just start running a trace to see where the different events took place, and then that helps you, you know, get a greater context of, where the problem came into view. So, as far as DevOps goes, um, I tend to look at it as the continuous integration model, and so with BoxyHQ and DevSecOps, we use tools like Sneak in our as PR checks. to check for vulnerabilities and like SQL injections in your code, as well as any vulnerabilities in your container, that type of thing. And then some secret scanning. So we do have developers who basically, you know, are tasked to be in the security area. And so that's how we handle DevSecOps.
Got it.
We use DevSecOps in our continuous integration.
Okay. So
Yeah.
people like security engineer or specifically specialize in DevOps or DevSecOps who are handling the security and all those stuff. So from my understanding, I will just simplify for the people.
Yes.
So DevOps is something that you use for the automation of the tools for the scalability of your complete software applications. So just understand that you build a particular application with Next.js, and some of the things that you have to version control system, just like Git and GitHub, you have to put your code manually push to your production. So where you set up CI/CD pipeline, continuous integration, and continuous deployment comes in the place where you configure your some manual task to automation. And CI/CD is not the scalable thing. That's why you need the Docker and container things. And where the lot of tools just like Jenkins, GitOps, CI/CD, all the tools are comes in. It's a part of DevOps. But what DevSecOps is configurations for the security tools to your software application. So you have to use other services or
Mhm.
tools which provide a security to your application through the concept of DevSecOps. It's a developer security operations.
Yep.
That's the interesting field to explore right now. And DevOps is also interesting. There are a lot of tools to use, but it's a great field to explore for anyone who is just started. So that's the
Definitely.
simplified version of the DevOps and DevSecOps. Yeah, that's interesting, Nathan.
Good.
Uh, you work as a community engineer role. So how you get that role, and if someone just want to get that role, what are the skills that you will suggest some skill that people need for this role?
So a developer background is that's pretty much number one. And then
Okay.
just being able to build relationships. It's very similar to developer relations. And the reason why the community engineer role is different mainly is, you know, I'm not out speaking at conferences. I'm just engaging directly with our community pretty much full time. Takers trying to improve tools and products, that type of thing, and then just collaborating with the community pretty much full time is basically what the community engineer role does. And so if you're a people person and you love working with developers, it's actually a great position for you to get started. And so, you know, depending on the company, it helps to know the
Yeah, yeah,
language, you know, the language that your product is built in. Like BoxyHQ is JavaScript and TypeScript. The applications are built with Next.js, and so you know that's so if you know that, then it's a great first step for sure. So
yeah. DevRel and community engineer is not in very different things. They are similar that you mentioned. But in DevRel field, maybe it's required to talk at conferences. You talk on the platforms and different sessions about your product. Like it's a community complete spreading the world awareness about your product. But in engineer role,
mhm, yeah,
you have to connect with your community. It may be a Discord, it may be a Slack, whatever the platform is. You have to create content and you have to provide the solutions the community have with a particular problem. So that the community
yeah,
engineer role. Yeah. And if someone want to
yeah,
get started with this role, so you it's better to have developer background because it depends on company to company. Some of the company hires people who don't have developer background, and some company hires who have developer background. But it's better to have and some knowledge of content and managing the communities and making the building the bridge between developer and the community. That's the simplify version
Right.
of the community engineer.
Yeah. Yes, definitely. And it's kind of an open-ended role too. It doesn't really have any boundaries. So you can go speak at conferences, and uh, we've gone to conferences through BoxyHQ and engaged with different um, projects and communities. And so really it's just like developer relations, like there's no boundaries or fences, like it's completely open-ended, but the target is basically the community. That's like
Yeah,
really, and creating relationship, which is one of the
and
most important parts.
it's interest like it interesting role as for the people who just want to like struggle with a particular issue, so they can put their question in particular the Discord, and someone they are expected as someone will answer you to that particular question. So that's an interesting role, and yeah, like people get help from that particular person, and being a bridge between developer and uh, the customer or the community of the people who can simplify the all the technical thing to the non-technical people or just noob that we say in the technical field. So that's interesting role. And
Right.
other
Yes.
thing that uh, BoxyHQ is it may be not relevant to you, but if someone just start contributing to open source and they at BoxyHQ and they contribute some good issues, try to solve some major issues at BoxyHQ. So is there any chance that you hire that particular person in your development team? Is that work?
Yeah, I think just like many open source platforms out there, the more active you are in, you know, fixing issues, fixing bugs, you're going to get noticed. And so it's definitely a great way to get hired. It would be a great way to get hired at BoxyHQ. It would be a great way to get hired. I know of lots of other projects that specifically hire their developers from the community because, first of all, you show that you know what you're doing and you're able to push production code. And that's it. Maybe it's not the first time. Maybe it's you have to go make a little tweaks, but you tend to show that, hey, I'm able to modify this or modify that, and then you end up pushing your code to production. It's a great way to get noticed, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah,
And so I would say yes, whether it's BoxyHQ or any open source platform, just uh, making contributions and providing value, you'll definitely get noticed. I know people that have gotten hired, and it's it, it's almost better than applying because
yeah, yeah,
when you make
agree.
when you make the contributions, you're actually fixing something right out the gate. So
Yeah.
yeah.
And one thing to add, like when you apply on a particular company, they ask you for the proof of work that you did in the past. But if you contribute to open source and if people noticing you, that means you already have a proof and people already know what you are capable of to build and just fixing that particular bug. So people will definitely recognize you, and even community will definitely reach out to you that if they are looking for a particular role and you are already contributed, so you will get an opportunity compared to applying to companies. So it's better to,
Definitely. And there's
yeah,
and there's little ways that you can kind get noticed. Like, let's say, your pull request was merged. Now you have code that was pushed into production. Well, it's not only tracked by GitHub, but take that PR link and put it in your cover letter or put it in a comment section in the application somewhere. And that way it's a direct reference of the work that you did that's now in their company, which is amazing. So I would definitely recommend that.
Yeah, yeah, and it's a great thing. Like, uh, it's already started. A lot of people taking interest in open source and contribute to that. But consistency is the key. Like fixing some typos or README file. Maybe it's help you to start with open source, but maybe not help you to get an opportunity. And if you want to get opportunity, you have to do hard work and try to fix some developer related issues that will create a better opportunity for you.
Definitely. Yes, I
Yeah.
agree.
Yeah. And Nathan, like the last question, like tell us about your story, like how you get the community engineer role at BoxyHQ. Like you reach out to the co-founder or some people reach out to you. Like how you get the job. Tell us about that.
So the story is they reached out to me and
Okay.
we started talking, and they needed someone to manage their communities and create technical content for their YouTube and write technical articles that would promote BoxyHQ as well as other open source and developer tools. And so it's, I guess the stars aligned at the perfect time and it just ended up happening. So, but
Okay.
I had a previous community engineer role, and basically it's just trying to get the attention of a company. And so, trying to showcase your skills, the open source work that you've done, or, let's say you have, you're a junior developer and you have a full stack certificate or something, just start making YouTube videos and or writing technical content to add to your resume, and that's a great way to get noticed.
Yeah. Like that's the better way to people will recognize you. And
Definitely, yes.
what are the salary expectation that people in a community engineer role or they want to get started with a community engineer role? What are the salary expectation do you think as a beginner who just looking for their first community engineer role?
The what expectations? I'm sorry.
Salary expectation in terms of money.
Oh, income?
Oh, yeah.
Uh, well, I think it varies from company to company, really.
Okay.
So I'm not really sure. I'm definitely not an expert on what the what the income is from company to company, but just like really any position in tech, it's going to pay much better than you know uh, having uh, like it's really hard to say, really.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, like
it's
got
really
it.
it's
Yeah.
it's really hard to say.
And it's completely right thing. As a community engineer, like it's not a what I can say. It's depend to company. Like
Hmm.
every company varies their values and the depend the work that you have to do. So every company give a particular amount, range of
Yeah.
particular amount that you have to pay. So it's not the similar thing for all the companies.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
I agree. It kind of
And
depends on, like we touched on before, it just goes from company to company, and some companies they raised a bigger seed than, the other company down the street. So it's hard to say, but I would recommend it. I would recommend um, contributing to open source and just writing content, writing what you know, and making tutorials, and YouTube comes into that as well. And I love what you're doing, Ganesh, because you're speaking with all kinds of people out there,
yeah,
whether it's Web3 or open source, and I think that's really cool.
yeah, thanks. And I'm just that's the end of the session. I'm just wrapping the this whole session in a 3 to 4 points. So first we discuss what is BoxyHQ, and second that community engineer role, and how you can start contributing to open source in terms of BoxyHQ. So I'm just simplifying. BoxyHQ, the main tech stack is Next.js and TypeScript. A lot of people know these two technology. You can contribute to their boilerplate that they have, SaaS starter. I will share the link in the description. And the second thing, they have their projects on the GitHub repo, so you can contribute to their documentations are also well documented. If you have a particular bug or particular idea, you can create a PR. And the two things that we discussed, developer and DevSecOps, DevOps and DevSecOps, what is the difference between it? And yeah, like these are the things. And if you want to just start with a open source, I highly recommend to go and read the Nathan articles. He explained the technical terms related to BoxyHQ in very simple way. So you will figure out where the like particular bug that you will fix or particular feature that you want to show at BoxyHQ. So you can create a PR from that as well. So this is the session discussion that we have, and I would like to thank Nathan for being here and accepting the invitation and sharing the valuable time with us.
I appreciate that. I had a wonderful time. Thank you,
Yeah,
Ganesh.
yeah. So yeah, like thanks Nathan, and for like have a great day.
You as well. Thanks.